Quinnen, let's start with the positives. You guys had 2 sacks and you were on both of them. Are you feeling like your old self again?
I don't really want to talk about the sacks, so we can talk about the negative.
All right. Well, let's talk about the negatives. What did you see from this team? What did you take out of it?
I just see like a lot of guys. The mental error is killing us every single week, man. And I'm a huge person to believe that watch the film and learn from your mistakes. And I think that's the big thing that as a team we got to do. We all got coaches, players, everybody got to learn from our mistakes and make sure that we harp on our mistakes and never make those mistakes again. Like, I'm a big person that watch film and make sure if I made a mistake, I'm going to make sure 1,000% I never make that mistake again. I'm going to study so I won't make that mistake again. And I think as a team, myself, in general, we got to do that. We got to take that same approach. We can't hold our head down because it's a long season. Mm-hmm. We 0-3 right now, but we could be 3-3 very soon. So the main thing that we got to really focus on is learning from our mistakes. Like, we can't have 8 people on the field and then 3 people just making mental errors because you're going to turn into an average defense. Like, you see some plays out there that we make, we got a fumble, we got sacks and stuff like that, and all the 11 of us doing what we're supposed to do. And when we do that, we want the #1 defense in the country. But if we got 9 guys doing this and 2 guys doing that, we're average defense in the country. So I think that's the main thing that we got to go back to the drawing board, learn from our mistakes, and make sure that mistakes never pop up again.
You talk about that. You know, you guys are 0-3. You've been part of, the second straight year 0-3. How do you make sure this doesn't snowball?
Going back to what I said, like, we can't avalanche. Like, we all got to pick each other up. Think about the positive. Think about the pass rush move that we did get. Think about the pass rush move that we could have had. Think about I don't know nothing about offense, but think about the opportunities that they had, different stuff like that, and go back to watching the film and make sure your mistakes that you made won't happen again. And that's the main thing that I feel like, to make sure this thing don't avalanche or snowball. Just learning from your mistakes and really harping on your mistakes, not just blowing them off, not just saying you got them on Monday, but Tuesday or Wednesday you come around, you'd have forgot what you did wrong the week before. But just really harping in and learning from what you did wrong and learning from what you can do to be a better player every single week.
Coach said, that playing hard just isn't good enough anymore. We have to work on precision. Is that just like you said, the practices, the going over the film? Is that what you see?
Definitely, man, because everybody good in this league, man. Like, they get paid just like we get paid. They're professional just like we are professional, man. And if you make mistakes, you're going to beat yourself. And that person across from you wants you to make mistakes. Just like on defense, like, we want them to make mistakes so we can get a sack. We want the receiver to run the wrong route so we can get a sack. Different stuff like that. So if we beat ourselves, we never going to win. So
when you see your offense struggling as a defense, what can you guys do to kind of jumpstart it?
Just make plays, celebrate. Like, every time, like the fourth down, they didn't get it. Zach and them came on the field. And I'm like, bro, we're going to get y'all the ball right back, bro. Through an interception. As soon as they come on the field, we finna get y'all the ball right back. So having that belief and that faith in each other really like push us, because we know we got a great quarterback. We know we got a great offense. We just got to all pull it together. And once we pull it together, it's going to get scary.
Thanks, Quinnen. I appreciate your time.
I love the energy and I like the level of accountability, but he has to take that energy, that moment, and say, come Monday, and rally up the dogs and talk to them, because that's who's suiting up and playing for the New York Jets. And him being a first rounder, when you're a first rounder in this league, you're a difference maker. You're a cornerstone to that franchise. So I love the level of accountability. I love that he has a standard. He comes from Alabama. He's a hardworking guy. He's battled through some things. I didn't know. Me and Bart said here, this is his second time going 0-3. So he's like, man, this can't be the NFL for me. So he's probably at a level of desperation, especially your defense out there fighting his tail off, trying to fight. You have a good game, and it's like, man, it's just not good enough. For him being a young man and a defensive lineman for this team, this is the type of energy that has to last all week. So when you do face the Tennessee Titans, there is no pregame talk. It should be a quiet locker room, a bunch of hungry dogs biting at the face mask to go eat, because you're tired of stinking. You're tired of the questions at the end of the game. You're tired of everybody laughing at you. At some point, enough has to be enough. So if this is his moment, he just has to make sure everybody in that locker room is on the same wavelength, is operating at the same level. Because at the point, I wouldn't talk to anybody until we got a W. That would just be me.
It comes down to progress, right? We talked about we want to see progress from this young team, and Steve hit it on the head, and Willie, accountability, right? And Willie said it. You can say that to Jeane Coakley, but you got to talk to your teammates. If you want to progress, you can't have the same mistakes over and over again. He talked about guys having mental errors. Well, if you want to, progress in this league, you can't have the same mental errors. You have to go into the film room, be accountable to yourself. You know the mistakes you made. Don't continue to make those mistakes. Because if you continue to do that, like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different results is the definition of insanity. So they have to go out there, work on those mental errors, fix those, and you can't continue to make the same mistakes.
All his teammates are going to be asked about what Quinnen Williams is talking about. Right? So that goes to Jared, who's going to say, hey, man, well, you're going to be asked these questions. You got to prepare for them. So now you have to be thoughtful and think about it. Then it goes to when we're watching film, like, hey, man, like,
what's
somebody got to stand up.
Yeah.
Somebody got to say, listen, it ain't about the coach. Because at the end of the day, when we out there, it's you and me that I got to communicate, like to Willie's point. The coaches can't help us once we get out here, man.
At all.
If we not joined at the hip and we not on a string, then we can't fix this. I can't fix this by myself. I have to understand. You have to see what I see and see it from my perspective. We got to start singing out the same hymn note. It's like what most coaches say, which is football speak. We got to start speaking to each other and seeing formations, understanding situations. Situational football, understanding when we probably going to get a screen, understanding what formation into the boundary means, understanding what 4 one-way means to the backside linebacker, right? And also being able to understand how difficult it is if you don't get a reroute and you're lazy, or if you're the running back and you don't get a good chip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are things like, listen, this chip is important for me.
Yeah.
If I'm fan, I'm saying, hey, Von Miller is here. I need a real chip. I don't need you to push him. I don't need you to push him in the back.
Like
your first primary job is to make sure that you give a good chip to slow him down.
Yeah.
So then you are the check down. You're coming out late, and then you're the last line. You don't have to be in a rush.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And then on top of that, it's a momentum starter, right? That little dink and dunk could be a 10 to 15-yard ball. Now we got the offense going. Now, it's the little things that Deuce can tell you too, man. As a defensive line, you see an offense struggling in front of you, what you telling the boys in the huddle?
It's time to eat, man. It's time to go hunt.